Dang, Evil Dead Chick here, reminding you to visit the Deadites on Deck Horror Shop for t-shirts, blended tees, candles, tote bags, hats, mouse pads, and more. Poe tells me that some of you aren't horror fans. That's okay. I do custom work. Just let me know what you need using the handy dandy form on the homepage of the shop at deaditesanddeck.com. I can even get you set up with t-shirt graphics and logos for your business, and we'll offer a discount if you want the logos put on multiple items. And best of all, shipping is a flat rate of $6, whether you buy one item or 10. Visit deaditesanddeck.com today.
One or the other, how can you choose? Bloodlines that matter, gore and splatter. Which is better, which is worse? Opposing views, laying it on the line. Who is right, who is wrong? Do we really care? King and queen of the horror throne, only one wears the crown. Who will bow down at the altar of royalty? The savage debate begins now. What is your final answer?
Howdy, gang, and welcome to another episode of the Savage Debate. And what we're going to talk about tonight, if you haven't already figured it out, is the best rock and roll horror film of all time. And I had a poll up on the channel. I know it was a little late. I should have put it up there last night to give y'all more time to vote. But you guys have placed votes for 3 out of the 4 films. And I will check it one more time before I get off of here. But I wanted to share with you guys and gals that are in here what the results are right now. There were a total of 8 votes. I know that is my fault because I should have put this up there last night. But Trick or Treat from 1986 is in the lead with 63% of the votes. October Blood is second with 25% of the votes. And Black Roses is trailing in third place at 13%. Terror on Tour has no votes, which is kind of what I expected. But we're going to go ahead and I'm going to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way, and then we're going to go ahead and discuss these films, and I'm going to share with you guys and gals my favorite out of the 4 that were listed in the poll. So tomorrow night, I'm planning on doing a live stream to share with you guys and gals some new stuff that is on the Deadites on Deck horror shop at deaditesondeck.com. So be sure to join me for that starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. And might have some guests with me, might have Poe, might have Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel. Who knows? Jello Steve might even be here. We don't know. But I wanted to let you guys and gals know about that. I'm going to be getting the promotion up for that here real soon. My plans in another week or another couple of weeks is to visit Horror Hound Weekend. I don't yet know if I'm going to be there all weekend or just on Saturday. That remains to be seen. I'm still, waiting for confirmation on whether I'll be going to, all 3 days or just one day. Okay. I do have media passes, so I'm going to try to get some footage from inside the convention, the Horror Hound convention this time. So y'all can look forward to that. I'm also going to try to do at least one or two countdown to Horror Hound weekends, so that you guys and gals can see what all is planned for Horror Hound weekend. Okay. Um, let's see. Thursday, I should be doing another They're All Messed Up. That will be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Friday will be an Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest. That's starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be watching the Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave. These are both the original films. Guys, I don't take this lightly when I say this. Viewer discretion is advised if you choose to watch the films along with me. Okay. They do have slasher elements to them, but these films are rough, folks. Please, I'm begging you, don't have your children around or grandchildren or whoever. These are not made for kids. Okay. And if you are watching them, I expect everybody to be responsible adults and not let young children watch them. These are not for kids in any way, shape, or form. And in some cases, they're not for adults. And the reason why I'm saying viewer discretion is advised, and I keep telling you this, hey, Gory Tiger, I keep telling all of you this, is because the last time I even dared to talk about these types of films, I got slammed for it. I got told, you're going to lose your channel, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. This was offensive to me. So fair warning, you know. And so if you are not, you don't want to, hear talk about these films, if you're not interested in watching them, please don't show up. And I love people to show up to the streams and the programming that I have. But I also don't want anybody to, get all upset and bent out of shape over something that's being discussed. Okay. So fair warning about that. Okay. And on the heels of that, whenever I do have watch alongs, I love people to come on these watch alongs with me. I'm not going to lie about that. I love it. It's very enjoyable. But here's the deal, folks. It has become worrisome to me that one, people want to come backstage and be added without me knowing anything about them. And I'm not saying they would do anything nefarious. I'm just saying it's worrisome. The other thing that's worrisome to me is that kids will try to come on. And I'm telling you now, if you even look like an underage child, I will not add you. Okay? No ifs, ands, or buts on that because I don't want to lose my channel. And I also don't want to expose a child to, we may talk vulgar. We may use the F word. We may talk about stuff that's best left in the company of other adults. Okay? And I mark my videos and streams. It's not for kids. The only thing I won't mark that way is probably the Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel stuff. Because Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel is a pretty innocent little guy. So, I feel that that's safe for your kids to be witness to. But not so with a lot of the other programming that I have on the channel. So, hopefully people don't think, oh, here she goes again. Here she goes making rules again. No, I'm just trying to protect kids. I'm trying to protect myself and my channel as well. So, again, I don't know if I'm going to have anybody in here tonight on a consistent basis. I love to have people on here. In fact, I'm going to put the StreamYard link in case there was somebody that wanted to join me live on here. If there's not really any discussion about this stuff, I probably won't be on here very long. But, I'm giving it the old college try, as I always do, to try to get people involved and interested in stuff, and get people interested in talking about things like they used to be. So if you are interested and you're of age and, I relatively know something about you, I will be glad to add you on here so that we can discuss these rock and roll horror films tonight. So, like I said, my choice may shock some of you because a lot of you probably knew, I know which one Dana's going to pick. Well, my pick is Trick or Treat from 1986. I even have my signed copy by Mark Ragman Price. He signed this for me at the drive-in in Shelbyville, Indiana, a couple of weeks ago. And, I really enjoyed meeting him. He was very nice. He liked my homemade Trick or Treat shirt that I made, and that just thrilled me beyond belief. But the movie itself, Trick or Treat, it's probably got the best songs in it, of the four that I listed on the poll, and those four being Trick or Treat, Black Roses, Rocktober Blood, and Terror on Tour. I have always maintained that this had the best music in it. The music is by a band called Fastway. And how can you go wrong with a movie that, albeit they were short scenes, but both Gene Simmons from Kiss and the late great Ozzy Osbourne. Who could forget Ozzy? I think almost everybody loves Ozzy. And he plays the Reverend Gilstrom. I think Aaron Gilstrom, I think's his name. Who, this is so off the mark of who Ozzy was. Because he's talking about, the people that listen to this type of music are sick people and all that stuff. And just watching Ozzy, work his magic just makes me laugh every time. And so not only that, but you have Mark Price, who was known a lot for his work on Family Ties as the nerdy neighbor Skippy, who's so in love with Mallory that he just can't hardly stand it. So the character of Eddie Weinbauer was a totally different type of character for Mark Price to play. And I think he plays it beautifully as the bully, put upon, heavy metal loving kid at his high school. And it seems like the only other person that's really into the heavy metal scene is his friend Roger. And so, I think this movie works on a lot of levels. It's got kick-ass music in it. It has small parts from both Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne. Mark Price plays Eddie Weinbauer beautifully. I mean, he had his craft down pat. But it also, for every kid, it speaks to every kid who ever felt like an outcast in school. And I did. I definitely felt like an outcast, not because of the type of music I listened to, but the type of movies I was into. And also growing up, I was extremely, extremely shy. And this movie did always speak to me. Movies like Carrie spoke to me, right? We didn't really want to cause harm to our fellow students. But, wouldn't it have been great to have a little telekinesis, like Carrie White, and be able to, I don't know, make somebody's uh, pants fall down or something like that, to do something to humiliate someone the way they've humiliated us, right? We don't really want to hurt them. We don't want to make their car flip over end from end. Um, we don't want to cause our gymnasium during a prom to catch on fire and stuff like that. Hopefully we don't. But, it would be nice to be able to, get a one up on the people that picked on us when we were kids. Not harm them, but, cause them a little bit of embarrassment or something. Or like Tina on Friday the 13th, part 7, where she causes the mean girl's pearls to break and fall apart. Her cherished pearl necklace she's got on. So things get a little bit dark in Trick or Treat, and Eddie doesn't realize it at first, because he is a big fan of Sammy Kerr. And Sammy Kerr is a heavy metal musician who you see him ripping a snake apart and rubbing the snake's blood all over him. And like when me and Steve did a commentary for it a while back, Steve said, nobody did that. I said, well, nobody did that. But, like Ozzy Osbourne, everybody's heard the bat story about Ozzy Osbourne biting the head off a bat, and how it was an accident. Purely an accident. He thought it was a rubber bat. He was just, wouldn't it be great if I just ripped the head off of this? Too late, found out it was, a real bat. I don't think it was alive, but it was still, a real bat. And, Alice Cooper, his antics on stage, he never like killed any animals or ripped apart any animals or bit the head off a dead animal that I know of. But, he was a horror loving guy. Alice Cooper was, and Ozzy Osbourne had a lot of horror elements in a lot of his music as well. I mean, but the thing about Ozzy and the thing about Alice Cooper is they weren't devil worshippers. They weren't worshiping Satan. But Sammy Kerr, unfortunately, was dipping his hands into a pool that was very wicked. And after he dies and comes back, when Eddie plays his last album backwards, and it tells him, what to do to, it's like it starts out, Sammy Kerr's telling him, let the big fish hook themselves. You're the bait is you. Something to that effect. And Eddie is at first ecstatic. He's like, wow, for the first time ever, I got a one up on these guys that have been picking on me. And then things get really dark and people start getting hurt. And then people start getting killed after Sammy Kerr comes out of Eddie's speaker one night in his room. So great little film, great horror film, great rock music courtesy of Fastway. We got Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne in this. What more could you ask for with a film of this type? I can't think of anything else. And for me, it just rises to the top of the heap. Because, for all my big talk about things like Terror on Tour and Rocktober Blood, especially Terror on Tour, and even Black Roses to some extent, they really can't, in my opinion, hold a candle to Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat is the one and the only rock horror film for me. The others I can watch, the others I have fun with. But this is the serious one. This is the one, and it takes place around Halloween time, on and around Halloween. So it's perfect to watch right now. I mean, it's perfect to watch anytime, but especially during that fall Halloween type season, it's a no-brainer. And you know, in light of Ozzy Osbourne's passing, I have been watching this sucker, you know, more than I normally would, right? And some people are probably thinking, well, Ozzy's not on it that much, Dana. But minus the devil worship in it, it really goes by the heavy metal creed, folks. And I think that's why so many people love this film. I really do. And although, like I said, you can have fun with Terror on Tour, you can have fun making fun of it if you dislike it enough. But Rocktober Blood and Black Roses, although they're not as, to me, high quality as Trick or Treat, people accept them a little bit better than they do Terror on Tour. A lot of people think Terror on Tour is a horrible movie. I don't think it's a horrible movie, but it can hold a candle to Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat, in my eyes, is the best rock and roll horror film of all time. Hands down, the best rock and roll horror film of all time. For a variety of reasons, some of which I may have not even talked about tonight. So I'm going to check the poll again and see if the numbers have changed a little bit. Terror on Tour still doesn't have any votes. So that kind of seals the coffin on Terror on Tour there. But Trick or Treat now has 67%, is still in the lead. There have been 9 votes. Black Roses, Rocktober Blood's in second place with 22%, and Black Roses is trailing in third place at 11%. So it looks like maybe one person is in here. I don't really want to, talk around in circles. So if there's not anything that anybody else would like to bring up or talk about or say which one is your favorite or any of that, I'll probably go ahead and close this one out. This was another one that I thought would be more popular. But you win some, you lose some. It's not that big of a deal. Perhaps people will watch this on the replay. I'm going to leave the poll up for a little while longer just to see how the numbers pan out. And then I will probably take it down here a little bit later. So if you haven't gotten a chance to vote, you can still vote. And if there's any significant change in the voting, I will bring that up tomorrow night when I do the What's New at Deadites on Deck, talking about my horror shop. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, where I'm going to be talking about all the cool new stuff I've got on the Deadites on Deck shop at deaditesondeck.com, and some old favorites as well. So I am out of here for good tonight, but I want to thank Gory Tiger for hanging out in the chat with me tonight. I want to thank those of you that popped in to hear what Dana was talking about. I want to thank those of you that voted in the poll for your favorite rock and roll horror film of all time. And for those of you that couldn't be here tonight on the live stream or to watch this live and that will watch this on the replay, I thank you all as well. It is much, much appreciated. Hopefully, when we get into winter time, maybe, things will pick up as far as the channel. I'm hoping that that's the case. Not that I don't want people to be able to do anything or go and do anything, but I'm hoping that instead of, being bored sitting around your house, you'll stop into a few of my live streams and watch a few of my videos. I appreciate everyone's support. I am 20 away from that 1,000 subscriber milestone. So tell your friends and family members you think might enjoy the stuff that I'm putting out and encourage them to subscribe. If you are enjoying the content I'm putting out and you haven't subscribed, don't delay. Subscribe now, and hopefully I won't lose anybody because every time I talk about this, I lose some people. I don't know why. But and be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time to see what's new at the Deadites on Deck Horror Shop at deaditesondeck.com. And for the night, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I really get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday night, folks. And blast some Aussie and live the Aussie way. And what I mean by that is to don't stay in the past, push forward in the present and the future, and never give up on your dreams, folks. I love each and every one of you out there, and I'll see everybody next time.